Alright, so fellas, I decided to get my voice back, maybe temporarily, maybe permanently. Not entirely sure yet. This is going to be my first attempt at a deck building video because this is a guy that I saw for the Thunder Junction spoilers, and I really want to build him on paper, so I figured why not shove the deck that I'm making online if people are looking for any ideas. But yeah, this is so you want to build Rakdos the Muscle. This is the man himself. We're going to look at him first as a individual creature, and then we're going to look at him as a pilot for our commander deck. So the first thing we want to look at is how do his basic abilities stack up compared to his mana cost, and they're good. They're really good. For 5 mana, only requiring red and black, you get a 6/5 with flying and trample, which is thinking about it in like compared to other flying creatures, that's like paying the same amount of mana for a Terror of the Peaks and getting an extra power and extra toughness and trample on top of that. Obviously, ignoring the other abilities. But while Rakdos doesn't have the Terror of the Peaks abilities, he has his own stupid abilities, and being legendary can put him in the command zone. Speaking of those other abilities, we have whenever you sack another creature, you exile cards according to its mana value from the top of target player's library. That's important because it doesn't have to be your own. It can be any opponent's library, right? But on the flip side, it's important because it can be your own. And then you have until your next end step to say play those cards, do whatever you want with them, keep them in exile so that no one gets to use them, and you can use any mana to cast them. So if you're playing against an Azorius player or a mono green player, you don't got to worry about any of that. You can just do whatever you want. And then obviously he has his own little sack outlet to give Rakdos indestructible. But you do tap it, and it's only once per turn. So what we're getting out of this is a strong creature, but a better commander pilot, mainly because of that second ability. The third ability is good, but you can only use it once per turn, and it also just doesn't do too much aside from protect him, which is really good, but it's not consistent. You can't use it more than once per turn. So we're really going to be looking at that second ability. So this is going to be obviously an aristocrat deck. Sorry, I just completely fumbled that. But yeah, so this is stupid overall. This is a stupid card. That's why we're going to build it. So this build is going to be the aristocrat build. Obviously, we're going to be having stuff like your underworld breaches for your recursion. We're going to have your dockside stuff because dockside is just such an easy combo for anything that has red in it. Basically, just you're going to see that as a recurring theme. Is if the deck has red, I'm putting dockside in it. Although I don't think people are going to judge me for that one. And then obviously you have your sources and outlets for sacrificing, such as Ashnod's Ulcer is a really good one. But we have more than that. And these are just, this itself isn't necessarily a combo, although it probably can be. But we do have a few really good combos here to show off. So one of them that I really like is obviously the reassembling skeleton, pitiless plunder, Ashnod's altar thing. Infinite combo, super easy. If you have all three of these cards out and you activate it in any way, you just win. If you have Rakdos out, so solid combo. It does require 4 cards, but because we are in Rakdos, we do have a lot of access to recursion and to tutoring, so we have options. And now we have more than just that because we have access to Crime Novelist from Karlov Manors, who buffs up our artifacts and pairs really well with Pitiless Plunder, meaning that we don't necessarily have to have the Ashnod's Altar for the extra mana. We can now use Phyrexian Altar, because then, obviously, you sack Reassembling to Phyrexian, get 1 mana of any color, Pitiless activates, you get the artifact, which is a treasure, sack the treasure. The treasure can generate both the mana necessary for Reassembling Skeleton, which leaves you with that extra mana that you got from Phyrexian Altar, which now gives you infinite colored mana. This also does work if you have Ash on Filter instead, but instead of getting infinite mana of any color, you'll get infinite red mana from Crime Novelist. I could be wrong about that, but either way, regardless, super good combo will win you the game. Infinite mana if it doesn't. Just really, I mean, it will win you the game because you get infinite mana and then just cast Rakdos, then continue winning the game. So, yeah, you're just good. This is our first priority is assembling a combo like this because Rakdos is super easy to just win you the game off of stuff like this. Infinite mana, infinite exiling cards from libraries. This is what we're going for. Obviously, we're not going to get lucky all the time, and we're going to run into situations where we can't get these cards. And for that situation, we have the bread and butter, aka we just throw Hoarding Broodlord at everything, and then Saw in Half, Burnt Offering. You know the deal. I'm on the fence about using stuff like Buried Alive and Entomb. I do want to use those cards, but at the same time, it's like you gotta sort of figure out what you're gonna do for your mana base, and I am definitely gonna put those cards in actually on second thought. Forget the last 15 seconds even happened. So yeah, because again, for essentially 5 mana, you can just pitch Hoarding Broodlord to your graveyard, reanimate it, Saw in Half, Burnt Offering, and then you get to do the funny thing, which is Peer into the Abyss. And again, if we didn't already have all of the combo pieces that we needed from our previous explanation, do you get Peer into the Abyss out? You probably do. Granted, it's important to keep in mind, Peer into the Abyss is a bit of a risky card because of things like Orcish Bowmasters or things like Notion Thief, all that kind of crap that benefits off of other people drawing cards. But that's sort of where you do like a little bit of risk management. I'm not saying it's an airtight combo, but it is one that will help you if you have the opportunity to use it, you know? And so, you have that, and then you also get your World Gorger Animate Dead. Animate Dead is not like an exclusive thing for it. You can use Necromancy, you can use Dance of the Dead. I'm not going to be super picky about how you do it. Honestly, I just like Animate Dead and Dance of the Dead because they're just solid cards. Also, because while they don't necessarily contribute to the Rakdos sacrifice outlet, because Rakdos will be in exile when all of this happens, you will still get the ETB effects, which are going to be really important for a lot of the utility things that we're going to be doing, such as mana and tutoring. And that's why we're going to have things like Stitcher Suppliers, Priest of Gix, Priest of Urabrask, just to have that little buffer in case our plan A doesn't work, our plan B doesn't work. We have this little plan C that we can get with World Gorger, Animate Dead. Get the Stitcher Supplier, Priest of Gix, Priest of Urabrask. You get some mill, you get some mana, a little bit of access to more things we can do with Rakdos. And then Imperial Recruiter, if we want to be really nasty, because most of our things are relatively cheap or weak on their own, which gives us a lot more options, right? And then, obviously we have the payoffs for all of this sacrificing. Mayhem Devil will just win you the game. Rakdos will just win you the game. Both super important for the strategy. I mean, one or the other really works for the aforementioned reassembling skeleton combo. It's really just a matter of which one you can get out more easily, right? And then for more utility, because we are in Rakdos, we're running red-black, we are going to be using Wishclaw Talisman and Opposition Agent in conjunction with each other because it's dumb, it works, I love it, it's fun. And then because of the fact that we do have Opposition Agent, and because Rakdos puts things into exile, which is where you cast them from, why not throw Prosper in there? Because we're playing a lot of cards from exile with this strategy. So we get a little bit of extra mana in the form of treasures, which will help work with things like Crime Novelist. It's just a little bit of utility to help get things going. Now, how to play is sort of where we get interesting with things, because again, we're in Rakdos, right? So our plan essentially is to make them hate themselves or us. Doesn't really matter in what order, preferably both. We're not trying to establish ourselves necessarily as the big threat in the first like 2 turns, although we're probably going to do that anyway, to be completely honest. It's more fun that way anyway. But we're playing a little bit more of a control game, uh, which is to say that I don't necessarily see this deck being the type where we just shove things on the board and swing them at people willy-nilly, because a lot of our pieces are value pieces that while we can recur them, it's also important to have them on hand so that we can use them for their designated function. And then obviously abuse everyone's libraries. We have a lot of access to libraries through Rakdos and Opposition Agent. Praetor's Grasp is also going to be in there, or at least for me. But again, do this however you want to do this. But regardless of how you do this, I think these 3 points is like, or are like the best overarching rules you should lay out for yourself if you want to build this deck. And yeah, that's it. This guy is stupid. I stuttered way too much. I'm probably gonna be making scripts if I do this again. The improv is not working for me, but yeah, this was fun, honestly. Hope you enjoyed. I'll probably leave a link up to my full deck list somewhere in the description or a comment or whatever. Either way, yeah,